Something strange is happening in America. People hate their jobs but won't quit. Companies are barely hiring. The labor market, once called the Great Resignation, is now frozen solid. Workers are clinging to positions they despise, terrified to leave. And economists are sounding alarms. This isn't just bad for workers, it's destroying innovation and threatening long-term economic growth. Welcome to VibeVerse. Today, we're exposing why Americans are trapped in jobs they hate, what's really behind this labor market stagnation, and why staying put might be the most dangerous career move you can make in 2025. Let's dive in. The frozen labor market. The numbers are shocking. Americans are quitting jobs at the lowest rate since 2015. In 2022, 4 million people quit monthly during the Great Resignation. Today, just 3.1 million. That's a 22% drop. Hiring has slowed to the weakest pace in over a decade, just 22,000 jobs added in August 2025, down from 200,000 monthly averages in 2023. The unemployment rate hit 4.3, the highest since October 2021. But here's what's strange. Job openings still exist, 7.7 million unfilled positions. Yet workers won't move. Companies won't hire aggressively. The market is paralyzed. Economists call this labor hoarding. Businesses keep employees they don't need because they fear they won't find replacements. Workers stay in unfulfilling roles because they fear they won't find anything better. It's a standoff, and everyone loses. The quit rate, the percentage of workers voluntarily leaving jobs, has plummeted to 2.1%, the lowest in nearly a decade. For context, a healthy economy sees 2.5-3 quit rates, as people confidently move to better opportunities. Below 2.1% signals fear, not satisfaction. Why workers won't leave. 3 factors are trapping American workers. First, inflation. Fear. Even though inflation dropped from 9% in 2022 to 3.2% in 2025, prices never came back down. Groceries cost 25% more than 2020. Rent is up 30% in major cities. Gas fluctuates wildly. Workers who once felt confident job hopping now fear losing steady paychecks. A Glassdoor survey found 67% of workers say economic uncertainty keeps them from changing jobs, even if unhappy. Second, layoff anxiety. Tech giants slashed 400,000 jobs from 2023 to 2025. Finance, media, and retail followed. Headlines screamed recession fears for 2 years straight. Even though the economy didn't crash, the psychological damage stuck. Workers watched colleagues get laid off and thought, "I'm lucky to have any job." Third, the cooling economy narrative. Federal Reserve rate hikes from 2022 to 2024 deliberately slowed growth to fight inflation. It worked, but also chilled hiring. Job postings dropped 15% year over year. Companies that were desperate for workers in 2021 now post hiring freezes. Workers see this and freeze too. The result? Conscious unbossing, a term for workers mentally checking out, but physically staying. Gallup reports only 32% of American workers feel engaged at work in 2025, down from 36% in 2020. That means 68, more than 2/3, are either not engaged or actively disengaged. They're present, but not productive. They're surviving, not thriving. And they're too scared to leave. The innovation crisis. Why economists are panicking. When workers stop moving between jobs, innovation dies. Historically, job mobility drives progress. A software engineer leaves Google for a startup, bringing ideas and skills. A marketer jumps from Nike to a small brand, importing best practices. A teacher moves districts, spreading new methods. This cross-pollination of talent and ideas fuels economic dynamism. But when everyone stays put, knowledge stagnates. Companies become echo chambers. New businesses can't attract talent. Risky ventures which require people willing to leave stable jobs don't launch. The economy ossifies. Research from MIT shows economies with high job mobility grow 2.3% faster annually than those with low mobility. Over a decade, That's a 25% difference in GDP. Stanford economists found that regions with sticky labor markets where people don't switch jobs see 40% fewer startups and 30% lower patent filings. Why? Because innovation requires risk-taking, and scared workers don't take risks. They hunker down. They stop learning new skills. They avoid challenging their managers. They don't pitch bold ideas that might draw attention better to stay invisible and safe. Companies suffer too. When employees won't leave, firms can't refresh talent pools. Bad performers stick around. Mediocrity becomes acceptable. Quiet quitting becomes the norm. Productivity growth, which drives rising living standards, slows. U.S. productivity growth averaged just 1.1% from 2023 to 2025, the weakest since the 1980s. For comparison, 2010 to 2019 averaged 1.7%. That difference compounds. Slower productivity means slower wage growth, slower innovation, slower everything. The young worker crisis hits young workers hardest. Entry-level positions disappeared. Companies that used to hire eager college grads now demand 3-5 years experience for junior roles. Why? Because they're not training anyone. They're hoarding experienced workers and refusing to invest in new talent. LinkedIn data shows job postings requiring 3+ years experience increased 35% from 2022 to 2025. Even for roles traditionally filled by recent graduates, young workers are stuck in a brutal catch-22. Can't get experience without a job. Can't get a job without experience. Meanwhile, older workers cling to positions longer. Retirement plans derailed by inflation and market volatility. People who plan to retire at 65 are working until 70. That blocks promotions. Middle managers can't move up because senior roles are occupied. Entry-level workers can't get promoted because middle management is full. It's a generational traffic jam, and General Z is furious. They're the most educated generation in history, but face the worst entry-level job market in decades. Many are cobbling together gig work, side hustles, and freelancing not by choice, but necessity. The promise of get a degree, get a good job is broken, and they know it. The real danger, the long-term danger, isn't just economic, it's psychological. When workers feel trapped, mental health suffers. Burnout rates hit record highs. American Psychological Association reports 77% of workers experienced burnout in 2025, up from 60% in 2020. Depression and anxiety linked to job dissatisfaction surged. Workers who hate their jobs but won't leave enter a state psychologists call learned helplessness, the belief that no action will improve their situation. So why try? This mindset spreads beyond careers. People stop investing in themselves. They don't learn new skills. They don't network. They don't take calculated risks. They become passive observers of their own lives. And this creates a vicious cycle. The economy needs dynamic, risk-taking workers to grow, but the economy's current state makes workers afraid to take risks. So the economy stagnates further, and workers become more afraid. It's a death spiral. Breaking it requires either bold government intervention, aggressive job creation programs, retraining initiatives, or economic stimulus, or a massive cultural shift where workers reject fear-based thinking and bet on themselves. Neither seems likely right now. Conclusion: Americans are clinging to jobs that don't fulfill them because inflation, layoffs, and economic uncertainty created a culture of fear. But staying put is killing innovation, blocking young workers, and slowing economic growth. The safe choice, keeping your current job, might actually be the riskiest long-term move. Stagnation breeds obsolescence. The workers thriving in 2025 aren't the ones clinging desperately to existing roles. They're the ones learning new skills, taking calculated risks, and betting on adaptability over false security. The labor market is frozen, but you don't have to be. What's your move? Comment below. Like if this changed your perspective. Subscribe to VibeVerse for economic truth. Nobody else will tell you. The future belongs to the bold. Are you staying put or moving forward?